brought to you by our friends of the British Council. Hey everybody, welcome back to Rugby Wrap-Up. Matt McCarthy here at Studio 34, the Fantasy Sports Network in New York City with my special colleague/guest, the Champagne Socialist, Stephen Lewis. Stephen, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Stephen, you're resplendent in your powder blue top. It makes your eyes pop.
Why, thank you. Why, thank you, kind sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. We have a more of a manly man calling in, Dave Williams, who wouldn't be caught wearing that colored powder blue nor that team's shirt. Anyway, Dave Williams calling in. How are you, buddy?
Good, thanks, Matt. How are you, buddy? How are you, Steve?
Excellent. Missed you this weekend, Dave.
Should have given me a call, Steve.
So these two have a history, a little bit of bad blood out of the gate with you two guys, if I'm not mistaken. Do you recall your first meeting with Steve Lewis, Dave?
I do not, to be honest. I mean, he offered me a contract with Pro Rugby, and I gladly accepted it, and no issues from there.
Oh, no, this was many moons ago. This was when you were a player.
Lizards have long memories. So I actually picked you to play for the West in an ITT.
Oh,
and 2 nights before, you called off, you bailed, you jumped, you played for the opposition. So,
is that when I won? Is that when we won it and I won the MVP as well down in Florida?
Well, I don't remember those details, but anyway, I know we've made up since, and it's all good now.
We'll look that up on Wikipedia. I'm sure it's there. For the folks at home that don't know Dave Williams, you are a native of England. He's not from Denver, if you didn't pick that up. He's played on the men's Eagles 7s and 15s teams. He has acted as strength and conditioning coach for the Eagles, the men's 15s national team, and most recently, he was the assistant coach of the now defunct, I guess we can say, Pro Rugby USA setup, the Denver Stampede, the champions, the only champions of that league. You are now, you have been, I should say, part of the Glendale Raptors since 2011, strength, skills, conditioning coach, and now you are the head coach of that team. It's about to kick off in April, Dave.
I am. It's thoroughly exciting. We've yet to start pre-season. We'll start at the very beginning of next week. That'll give us a good 6-week lead into our first pre-season game against NOLA. We had a great year last year with the boys. We started a really good foundation, and now it's just a matter of us refining our processes and systems, getting the boys back fit and strong, and kind of progressing on as we see fit.
So, how has the preparation changed, would you say, in maybe prepping players for this pro iteration and then going forward and representing the Team USA Eagles?
Well, I think we've had a bit more of a lead in to this MLR than we did with Pro Rugby. I think we only had a very short, 4-week pre-season, and that was fine. We made it work, no issues with that. I think now we've got a 6-week pre-season period. Then we've got 4 games within that pre-season, and then we have a week off before we start against Austin on the 21st of April. And obviously, a few things have changed with the kind of strength and conditioning part of my job as well. It's still, you've got to get the guys as strong as possible and as fast as possible. So it's just a matter of how you mix that in with their training regime, how you mix up the training week, and what best fits that individual athlete moving forward from previous injuries, previous strengths and weaknesses, also from that skill element as well. And then overall is just getting the team buying into the system, keep improving from what we had last year, adding in a couple more players here and there as we see fit, and then really making a big effort for that July 7th finals game.
So you're already looking at the finals?
I'm not looking at that, but let's be honest, we're all coaches, we all want to win, and that's definitely on the horizon. But the old cliche, take it every game as it takes, as it comes, and we'll be doing that. And we've got our sights firmly on NOLA March 10th when they come up to Glendale.
So, Dave, a quick question for you. You've got a combination of professional guys. I don't know, the core of your team, what, 8, 10 perhaps, and then you've got the amateur guys or the match day, match fee guys. So how do you integrate those two sort of, in terms of allocating time and getting the practice together? How do you make that work?
Yes, I mean, we only train twice a week as a full team, just Tuesday and Thursday nights. I don't think, I'm not going to ask our part-timers to go for a third night. They've got careers, they've got families, they've got kids to look after, and they want to spend time with them. So I think we really maximise our time on that Tuesday and Thursday night. If we play Saturday, if we change our weeks, we have to play a Saturday-Friday game, then we'll probably alter our training week slightly for that. But our part-timers, they've been with our system for a while. They all get sent their strength and conditioning programs every week. They have to fill out. We certainly have a lot of conversations with those guys. With Teddy as my forwards coach, he'll talk to the forwards. I'll talk to the backs more, and then overall. They all get sent all the video, the breakdown from Sports Code every week, all their GPS numbers. So there's a huge amount of buy-in from our part-timers, within our system here, and it's great that we've got so many of such high quality.
So I have a question for you. Teddy, for the folks at home, is not that's his nickname.
That's a nickname. Everybody calls him Ted. That's Kieran Browner. He's my forwards coach and slash manager. He does a great job for us, and I'm glad to have him on board. And he's been with the club ever since they started about 10 years ago. And
who else is your staff?
So we've got a scrum specialist we're still working on. So he'll come in and do a bit of work for us as well. And also I've got Dave Sinnott, who's our head academy coach. He'll come in and do a bit of skills work, so they're not constantly hearing my voice during the week. He's a great addition to our club, running our academy, which we already played 3 of the academy players last year. And then we're looking to get more of those academy boys involved in the MLR as well as they progress up, show their skills and physicality at the men's level.
So with the Glendale setup, right, obviously great setup there, facilities, venue, you've had a core of that team together for a while. So you as head coach, how do you divide it up between, you have Mark Bullock's your director of rugby, essentially GM. So in terms of player selection and negotiation of contracts, how much of a say did you have in that?
I'd say probably about 90%, 95%, to be honest.
5%?
I've been lucky that I've been within the USA rugby system for a long time, so obviously I've known a lot of the better players throughout the years, hence why we've got 5 national team players playing for us and various other players that have played and now kind of moved on to careers. I'm constantly talking to age grade coaches to see if I can get other players that can come up to join our academy or push through. Teddy's been great, with some of the forwards, but I have overall say in selection. I'm the head coach, so that's the way it's going to go because it's on my neck if we win or lose, to be honest. So I want control over that. Yep. We do discuss with Mark, but a lot of the contracts have been through myself and through Ted as well. And then Mark obviously has the overall say as director of rugby.
Hold the phone for a second, guys. We're going to take a quick break and come back for another quick segment with Mr. Dave Williams of the Glendale Raptors right after this.
If you're in New York City and want to watch some great rugby, have some great food, and some great times, go to the world's best rugby pub, the Pig and Whistle on West 36th Street.
You're just joining us. This is a big match and a big moment as Clijsters toes the line.
You know, John, Anderson has really been struggling out there today. Huge mistake as Clijsters clinches another title. Don't let your nutrition get in the way. USANA, the official multivitamin of the WTA.
I'm Perry Baker, and you're watching Rugby Wrap Up.
Hey, everybody, we're back. Matt McCarthy and Steve Lewis at the Fantasy Sports Network, Studio 34 on West 35th Street in New York City. Mr. Dave Williams calling in from the Glendale Raptors. Dave, we left off talking about the setup, the training system, and all that jazz. Do you have your roster set, specifically your starting roster?
I'm saying we're probably 99% sure of exactly who we're going to start. Obviously, a lot depends on their training in the next 6 weeks. We're obviously losing 4 or 5 guys with the national team. They're away for different lengths of time during the ARC, so as soon as they get back, they'll be integrated back into the system. And it's great for them to go and play some international rugby before they join the MLR, get some game time, get some game fitness going. And then the rest of the boys will be in pre-season with myself and Ted, and then we'll just crack into the season and when they get back. But, we're always looking to add, 1 or 2 more players. But I think we're very set with our squad at the moment, very happy with it as well.
How many of the players from the Denver Stampede that you were left with by that director of rugby for Pro Rugby USA are left on your roster?
Full-timers, we have Will McGee, Atam Alifa, Luke White, and then part-timers we have Zach Fenolio, Chad London, Dustin Croy, Max D'Archeval, Pete Dahl, trying to think if there's any others. Casey Rock, Casey Rock was there as well.
Steve, do you want to address the legacy of that former director of rugby for Pro Rugby USA?
Not particularly. I mean, there's the reasonable core. I mean, Denver was a stronghold of rugby prior to pro. I mean, Glendale and the Barbarians were two strong clubs initially. So pro thing's good. Plus Dave and Mark have added guys like Sean Davis, John Quill. So these are experienced guys who are playing for other pro teams, but who definitely bring something to Glendale. And we're not being pressed on it quite yet, Dave, but in my power rankings, I do have Glendale number 1 going into the season.
That's pretty impressive. And speaking of next season, we have to end
hang on, Matt. Before we say that, I think he can say we're a big rugby stronghouse, but he didn't put us number 1 down for the pro season. So
no, I didn't. I was proved wrong. I'm happy. I took it on the chin. Learned my lesson.
He did. He actually said you wouldn't win a match.
I didn't say that.
So, Dave, we are running out of time. We're getting yelled at in the headset. So, final question, following up on the Pro Rugby USA and the MLR thing. Predictions. We had Justin Fitzpatrick of the Houston Sabercats in here last, and a couple of weeks ago we had Nate Osborne of the NOLA Gold, your fellow coaches on the Rugby World Cup team in 2015, making predictions. Nate said his team was going to run the table, and Fitzy said, you want to bet on that? We're taking it. What do you have to say to that?
I'm really excited about this league. I mean, it's been a long time waiting. Obviously, the first iteration kind of came and went, and that was definitely a step forward, and it had to happen. I think this MLR, the way the teams have got organised, the same salary caps. Obviously, Houston have got a bit of a head start on the other teams by playing, but they're a brand new team. Same with Nate and New Orleans. Look, every coach wants to win. Every player wants to win. We've got a winning history at Glendale, and I certainly want to continue that as the kind of head coach, and also getting as many players as we can through to the national team. And that will just be helped by the daily training environments that we provide here in Glendale.
So wait a minute, you're not going to get into the prediction thing?
No, look, every coach wants to win it. It's simple as that. We'll certainly have a little bit of banter between ourselves about who's going to win it and games coming up. I know they've got Houston coming up on the 28th. We play New Orleans on the 10th. Kind of give some indication of where each team stands in the preseason period. But let's be honest, that's just preseason. And then, during our season, when it's really going to count. And I think, as we keep progressing, keep staying resilient as a group of guys here in Glendale, then we want to progress through and hopefully, keep getting those trophies within the Denver and certainly within Glendale as well.
All right, fair enough. Steve, final question for Mr. Williams?
Down the road, I think the most interesting thing is going to be managing that salary cap, I think, for the league. And obviously trying to get the competitive parity, making sure it's good competition. Because that's what you need. You need good, tight, close-fought games every week. You need a good product. So that'll be the interesting thing.
Just on that, Steve, it's quite interesting when you look at the Premiership. You look at definitely what the top 4 teams, top 6 teams are doing as compared to the bottom teams, and they've all got the same salary caps. And you look at the kind of the makeup of the teams as well. So it's definitely interesting taking some viewpoints from the Premiership, how they kind of manage their salary caps, and what teams are taking more from their academy and what teams are taking less. And then also what their success is at the end of the day.
And
I think we've got to learn a lot from that as well.
Yeah, to be fair, and with the Premiership, there's only really 2 teams adrift, right? The rest of them it's kind of bunched.
Yeah, I mean, especially this season, you can win a couple, and you're probably going to be in 4th place.
Justin Fitzpatrick, is he Irish?
Mate, you can't bring up World Cup banter, mate, in this conversation.
I didn't say it was. I was just asking a general question.
He definitely sits on the fence, and Fitzy is a big man, so he can definitely sit on both sides of the fence and be happy on both spots.
All right, fair enough, guys.
Good answer.
Good answer. Diplomatic coach right there. Gentlemen, thanks. Unfortunately, we're out of time. And on behalf of Mr. Dave Williams, Mr. Steve Lewis, I'm Matt McCarthy for Rugby Wrap Up here at the Fantasy Sports Network. Don't forget, you can check us out on all the different social media platforms, iTunes, and all that jazz as well. And that's it for now.